And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in business once again with a community showdown between the Warriors of Chaos, who shall be led by Malverde. And today, my friends, he faces off against the High Elves, who shall be led by Sergeant Spaghetti, coming in hot with IMRIK. Should be quite a bit of fun. I certainly feel like IMRIK is one of those lords that's really overshadowed. There's a lot of factions where you have that, right? But in the case of the High Elves, you have Alariel, you have Bird Teclis, you have these like just A-tier, S-tier lords who are just so powerful that poor old IMRIK really gets overshadowed. And if you take a look at IMRIK, I mean, he really is not bad. I really do think there's other factions that if they had them, they'd be super excited. Like, imagine if the Beastmen could bring IMRIK to the battlefield, right? I mean, of course, in terms of lore and all practicalities, it doesn't make sense. But imagine if the Beastmen had IMRIK, how damn good he would be. He would be like meta-defining for sure, right? You have a faction with Centaurs and Minotaurs and high charge bonus infantry. And suddenly you have, a Dragonhorn just making your whole army get a huge melee attack buff. But unfortunately, in the High Elf roster, he's just very overshadowed and doesn't synergize quite as well with the roster. Granted, with some of the new units like Rangers and the Narnia Alliance, he can be very good. But yeah, your boy IMRIK, he's certainly quite cool. Now for the Chaos Army, it's going to be Marauders backed up by Warriors here. And the Warriors, you don't see them terribly often anymore, but in this circumstance, they should be quite good. I mean, they probably will lose to White Lions in a vacuum simply because they lack the AP against the Lions, but they'll trade okay with their stats, but they'll absolutely annihilate Rangers. So pretty excited to see how the Warriors are going here. The more common build that Chaos players bring these days are just using Marauders and then using Spawn and or their monsters to do most of the heavy lifting, but I do think Chaos Warriors are still one of the better units in that price range in terms of their functionality. Like, they're very, very good. Their stats are great. High armor, good combat stats, good weapon strength. Can't complain, but it's got Chariots on the flanks, Marauder Horsemen just to harass and poke, always pretty much a staple of most Chaos builds. Weird Spawn here in the back. Archeon, Pendulum Caster. Pendulum is pretty much the quintessential way to deal with High Elf roster. Tightly packed infantry, tightly packed elite infantry, archers, you name it. These bad boys can really do the job. An Exalted Hero as well with the Mark of Khorne, a very cool ability. I hope to see more of this kind of stuff in Game 3, but Mark of Khorne does give base weapon damage, melee attack, immune to psych. It's definitely very powerful, and that appears to be it for the Chaos Army. And now for the forces of the High Elves, it's going to be Rangers in the front. Interesting tech choice, probably against Marauder spam. And he does also have a Noble, IMRIK, of course, with his Vuvuzela. He does have White Lines of Cray, so pretty infantry-heavy army, which, of course, will be quite strong with IMRIK and his Vuvuzela giving them all the big melee attack buff. He's got triple Narnia Line. Narnia Lines aren't bad. They can support Spearmen to hold off Chaos Knights. They can block Chariots on their own. They have good mass, good AP. He does also have the Rahagris Pride, and that's pretty much it, man. So let's have some fun. Let's get this party started and see how this game unfolds. So the first Chariot is going to be going headlong into the Spearmen. I was going to say that would be a little bit of a mistake. You definitely are going to want to engage against Rangers. It looks like he did pathed past those lines, trying to get back here. I'm not really sure. It was probably just a misclick in all honesty. And the Chaos Chariots do take a pretty heavy hammering here from the Narnia lines. Those guys, like I said, 50 AP, 30 in melee attack, and Chariots don't have the most melee defense, so the Lions should be able to get them pretty good there. But definitely want to pull these Chaos Chariots back, get them up, maybe pull them back through the front line to go after the Rangers. And the Vuvuzela has been sounded in the deep. The High Elf army is all sauced up. Rangers are sitting at 55 melee attack, and you can see that is making them annihilate these Chaos Marauders. Granted, they don't stand alone. You can see Aslan has sent his boys here, and the Lions themselves have armor piercing, not armor piercing, but they have a bonus for infantry and AP, so going to make them quite exceptional at dealing with these barbaric Marauders. Now the White Lions are going to be piling in. Chaos really buckling in the front line, but a big Pendulum could certainly change that here. Ooh, that was a nasty Pendulum. That really tore apart those Rangers, especially since the Summoners of Rage were certainly dropping the base there as well. Now, over here we have a duel of sorts. It looks like IMRIK plus the Noble. I'm so used to just seeing Larry and Teclis, right? So it was very strange to see IMRIK go in, or a High Elf Lord go into duel, right? But going in against Archeon's a bold strategy for sure. He's a very strong duelist and has some incredible stats for sure. But IMRIK is backed up by a Noble as well on a Chariot, but the Weird Spawn are also here. Rahagris Pride with a nice debuff. They're nearby as well, so it's going to be lowering the leadership and speed of all of these units. Not going to be terribly pertinent for the single entity duel, but still quite nice. And yeah, Archeon's holding his own. Foe Seeker and Mighty Roar. I'm surprised he's not running away, but it looks like he's getting the upper hand here. IMRIK might not be connecting with all of his attacks, and yeah, Archeon has been able to tank these two pretty well and seems to be winning that fight. Now in the back line, one Chariot did pretty much go balls deep back here and try and take out that bolt thrower, and it did succeed, but at the cost of its own life. So the War Lines of Crace back here were able to poke. Some of the Marauders being screened out by Spears here, probably on skirmish mode. And same thing happening back here. So the High Elves may be able to stabilize their back line, but they don't really need to. They're more of a melee-focused build as far as this army goes. So still dueling here. Pretty surprised this is going down. We do have the Exalted Hero plus Archeon going after IMRIK, but IMRIK's going to be getting a piling in reinforcement from the White Lines of Crace and the Rangers right here. And he was able to do some damage on Archeon, and the difference being is that IMRIK does have access to healing with the Mage of Life, whereas Archeon cannot be healed, so making small sacrifices and yielding certain engagements isn't necessarily the worst idea in the world. Marauder Horsemen just chasing down Rangers on the edge of the map. And it looks like they're on fire, manual fire, so they're not wasting ammo against the spearmen. And of course, they're able to outmaneuver and should be able to close in on these poor Eagle Claw bolt thrower crews. You can see these high elves and their pointy hats are going to be rode down by the Marauders. Very reminiscent of campaign. Glorious times indeed, Marauder Horseman Doom stacks. Weird Spawn and company here are holding, but the high elves are able to push through for the most part. The Weird Spawn are just getting cut down through sheer attrition. And over here, the Lions of Narnia and the White Lions able to crumble the Marauders, and the Chaos Warriors barely holding on. Summoners of Rage, though, are still in good shape. A big Chain Lightning here could be a breadwinner for sure. And Marauder Horsemen are really dominating the mobility in the battlefield and, of course, taking out whatever they can. But somehow that Bolt Thrower crew survived. Dragonhorn active, but a big Pendulum's going to be going down right here. Brutal one once again. Tears through the White Lions of Krace as well as the Rangers. And now we have some Chaos Warriors coming in from the distance to join the melee. Archaon a little bit surrounded, probably taking some substantial AP damage from the Lions as well as the White Lions of Krace. And it looks like IMRIK coming in with that lance, not so couched. He just kind of holds it in open air, which I would imagine is extremely difficult. Lord of Dragons active, and he certainly is the Lord of Dragons, getting 2,000 HP, and just like I said, that's the big difference, right? The healing. Archaon cannot be healed, though he probably would win in a vacuum with Slayer of Kings and his magic. No, obviously the healing is a big vacuum. So IMRIK coming in, and it looks like Archaon's getting a little bit low. Summoners of Rage, though, going for their own gooning attempt. It's going to take them not a long time to kill this mage, but I definitely think bringing the Summoners of Rage in to go after IMRIK and try and peel for Archaon would be the right play here. But, I mean, he is getting rid of healing for, the future engagements, but, the Dragon Ogres will not annihilate her like they would a large target with their bonus versus large. And it looks like a Chain Lightning is going to be going down here, and a nice one indeed. You can see the kills climbing up there, going from, low 60s to mid 80s in terms of their kills. Certainly pretty good value. And though Chaos has lost its Lord, more or less, it looks like Archaon did get a little bit of trash can action here from IMRIK. And he might come back at 371. It's pretty important to get him back for sure for Chaos, because he does have magic still. He's also the caster, not just the Lord. But there's a lot of Spearmen left for the High Elves. IMRIK is alive. I mean, there's a fair amount of Narnia Lions, and it looks like the Exalted Hero here is also going to be going down, or at least getting broken off. Leadership's close. It looks like it's able to get away. 10, 25, 39. Leadership is more or less stabilized. Maybe the Noble on the Chariot will pursue, but time will certainly tell. So now you can see the Marauder Horsemen are firing, so they're going to be just throwing at spears where they can. A Pendulum attempt coming in. And, oh, that's right. Chaos has two casters. What does Archaon actually have? No, Archaon's just a combat character. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. He just brought the helm to give leadership and immune to psych, but nonetheless, we have IMRIK. Is he going to lance the couch? Couch the lance? He kind of does there at the end. All right, that looks good. It was better than I thought. And that Chaos Sorcerer is going to be absolutely destroyed by IMRIK. IMRIK, of course, designed to kill such characters. And it looks like the Exalted Hero opted to run from this Noble here, going for a gooning attempt here on the Mage of Life, and actually pulling the Noble into the Summoners of Rage. A very, very good play. Summoners of Rage will be exceptional at beating down a Noble on a Chariot. So High Elves are mostly sitting with a big old infantry ball. You can see they have the White Lines of Krace, they have the Spearmen. But the fact that IMRIK is still alive is quite scary, so there's going to have to be some big plays with these Summoners. These are by far the hard carry that Chaos has left. And are they doing the damage they need? 592 here. IMRIK's at 2200. The Starlance and the Dragonhorn both active right now. Starlance gives him a pretty scary charge bonus of 135, so whatever he's able to catch is going to be some seriously brutal damage, to say the least. But Summoners of Rage, like I said, not happy about fighting mass spears, and also the Narnia Lions will be useful for kind of holding their mass in place and keeping them from running freely. But a lot of Marauder Horseman ammo. You can see here the Chaos player, Malverde, was able to hold that ammo back for most of this game. And oh, that's a little bit of a tricky pickle. Archaon is actually back as well. And though he only has 371, that's still an impactful character with a leadership buff. And yeah, that's nasty. And IMRIK does fell the foul Chaos Warrior, the Exalted Hero. His mangled corpse here left strewn across the glacial lake, as it's called. Summoners of Rage piling back here. Going to be coming in balls deep here for the Noble. Might be able to get him. Noble is, I think, a little bit faster. 78 against 64. So yeah, should be able to kite with proper micro. Here you can see the War Lines of Krace are going to be piling in. Honestly, taking IMRIK to attack the Summoners of Rage with the support of the Lions might not be bad. Each of IMRIK's attacks could potentially kill one of the Summoners of Rage, and Chaos doesn't really have the support nearby. But I guess he's waiting for the infantry, which certainly isn't a bad idea. But yeah, I definitely think going in and killing off the Summoners of Rage right now would be very, very good. But it looks like he's going for Archaon. Archaon, of course, able to goon out the Mage of Life. And here comes IMRIK, who's got the faster horse. 78 speed against 78 dead even here. IMRIK taking a couple of those throwing weapons to the face there. More than that, all right, just a little bit of a pincushion action. IMRIK's taking it like a champ, though. He's not shielded. Archaon with the Master Elvish Kite, pulling his opponent here through the missiles, which is pretty hilarious. I want to look at other things on the battlefield, but this is pretty much the most preoccupying thing that's going on here. IMRIK might be able to catch your boy Archaon. We'll see. Here he comes. His horse probably getting tired. Well, it's actually tired, and Archaon is winded, so something to say. And Standardize activated, just trying to, take every precaution he possibly can. Will Archaon turn around and fight? Oh, IMRIK looks like he's getting the acceleration from the charge. Is he going to close the distance? And no, down goes the Lord of the End Times. Oh, it would have been so funny if he flew into that pit. That would have been so epic. IMRIK, man, I was hyping up IMRIK in the beginning, talking him up like, hey, man, you're not bad, Keep that head up. Keep that head up, Prince of Calidor. You got some things going for you. Lord of the End Times has been slain here. The Marauder Horseman could probably still finish off this Noble if they just focus fire it, I would imagine. And Summoners of Rage might be able to pull some Witchcraft over here. It depends on the current status of their Chain Lightning. And I think that's why they're pulling back right now. They probably have a Chain Lightning off cooldown. They were able to recharge it in combat. Maybe now they're going to just blast this high health blob, which would be really, really punishing for sure. And I mean, they could kill IMRIK. The Summoners of Rage would 100% win that fight against IMRIK. So the Noble's broken. I mean, this is actually still a really close game. Also, the Narnia Lions coming in, taking a bunch of javelins to the face as well, trying to get their mighty roar, and they actually do. So they get the debuff there on that big blob of horsemen, who at this point should probably just attack. And there's only 35 armor on the Rahagras Pride, and there's so many Marauder Horsemen here. Very, very scrappy fight indeed, guys. We'll do a little bit of fast forwarding as the player's posture. Here, the Noble does chase down some of the skirmishers, but the Marauder Horsemen proven to be a very, I had that podcast with Aerocrastic talking about the most annoying units. Maybe Marauder Horsemen do belong in there instead of Chaos Spawn, but I'm more annoyed by Spawn than I'm by Marauder Horsemen. That's just me personally. So the Noble gets broken, and I mean, the High Elves, are these Silver and Guard? No, they're just basic Spearmen. And here on the far side, we have the Marauder Horsemen trapping your boy IMRIK. And IMRIK will kill them, a couple models at a time, if, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 in that case. But if the Summoners of Rage are able to capture him, ooh, that is going to be really, really bad. And that Noble got taken out as well. A little bit of a miss rally there from Chaos charging into Spears, but probably won't be punished too badly. Spearmen don't have the best damage output. And IMRIK's trying to get away now. You can see he's pushing. Man, if IMRIK were just to hang out by his Spears and waste all the Chaos ammunition, but I don't know at this point. Summoners of Rage might be able to get him. He's very close to escaping. Looks like a nice pathing there from the Marauder Horseman. What the player did there was he grabbed his horseman, I would imagine, and moved past IMRIK and then re-surrounded him. And IMRIK's taking a righteous beating for sure. Man, that is not looking good for IMRIK. Summoners of Rage getting in there. A couple white lines in the distance still fighting, but being swarmed by the haggard legions of Marauder Horsemen who are reigning absolute terror here on this map. And IMRIK is just doing his thing. The Starline's active, giving him 493 plus a big charge bonus as well. But like I said, Summoners of Rage are no joke. Very good usage of the Lord of Dragons, though. It's going to put the melee attack of those guys down to 1 for a period of time, but now it's back up to 41. So they should be able to clobber and time this guy. And what's really powerful about that is the Marauder Horsemen that are here at that point are going to be able to just chase IMRIK off the battlefield, and the Summoners of Rage can then engage the Spear Hordes, get some rear charges, and the Spearman lines are very battered. Good terrain usage, though, for sure. Kind of backing your wall up against this pit here to make sure you can't get surrounded, but IMRIK's down for the count. Look at that bounce of power fluctuation. My goodness, very tactical play here by both players, but now it's time for the final showdown, and the Spearmen I don't think are going to hold. I mean, they're being attacked by Summoners of Rage, who of course cause fear, and Chaos is going to win that. Holy shit. I thought IMRIK was going to carry that when he was just sniping all those Chaos characters, but I think that one opportunity that the High Elves had, which I was talking about, to isolate and kill the Summoners of Rage, like when they were kind of stranded and he had units to surround them with, I think that could have maybe won the High Elves the game, because the Summoners of Rage in the end were the hard carry. They isolated IMRIK, but no, the Marauder Horsemen were the carry. I mean, they surrounded IMRIK and allowed the Summoners to catch him. I mean, there was really good play on both sides. It was very fun, unorthodox builds as well, which I always love seeing. So, yeah, good to see some Chaos Warriors and a good old Exalted Hero, man, taking me back to the days of old. Anyways, very well played to Malverde and Sergeant Spaghetti. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Chaos vs. High Elf game as much as I did. Big thanks to these two fine gentlemen for sending in this replay. And until next time, guys, we'll be back with more content, more podcasts, all sorts of good shit coming up in the near future. All right, my friends, thanks for watching, and you guys take care.